coach in the sense that you got to score more points, obviously, but now you got a guy with a big leg like that. That could really be helpful.
Well, we hope that he's only trotting out there to kick extra points, right, and kickoffs. That's kind of the goal. But it's always nice to have a kicker that has experience, in front of big crowds and pressure situations against great opponents that you can rely on, that's got a strong leg. And, we've had, in my opinion, with Joe and Noe, we had a couple good kickers.
Yeah.
They just had, Joe went through the knee injury, and Noe, he decided to transfer, and we were really lucky to bring Chris in. Obviously, he's been a team.
Yeah, quarterbacks are important, obviously.
It's crazy that you asked me about a kicker before you even asked me about a
I don't know why I did that. Well, I didn't
no offense to Chris, but most, that's...
Well, you can tell him. Why don't you tell him tomorrow? Hey, I was on this show last night, and the first guy they asked me about was the place kicker. I don't know. But obviously, I was delaying the quarterback question. But Nick Evers comes from a Big Ten program. He is a guy that's got a lot of talent. Just listening to some of the other players talk about the QBs, they're all very respectful. No one's going to say, well, this guy's better than that guy. And Joe Fagnano was a guy that won the job last year, then got hurt right away. So as you look at QBs, you listen to talk radio around the country, and all they talk about is quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We got to know who the quarterback is. I don't expect you're going to tell me tonight, but what are you looking for from that position when you look at the guys who are throwing the football?
Well, number one is taking care of the football, not turning it over to the other team. That's the number one variable in winning and losing football games is turnover ratio. So he's got to make great decisions with the football in his hand. I think in today's college game, having the ability to run is a real bonus, because it puts tremendous stress on a defense and a defensive coordinator when, you've got everything covered up perfectly down the field, and all of a sudden the quarterback takes off and he gets the first down, or he gets a big chunk. I think he obviously, to score points, you have to be able to throw the football, with accuracy. You have to be able to throw it with velocity. You have to throw it with touch on deep balls. And I think that we've got a room of 4 guys, notwithstanding the 2 walk-ons. When you talk about Joe, who was, the starter at the start of last year, and then had the unfortunate shoulder injury against Georgia State, came out against NC State in week 1 and led us down the field. And then, they were a good defense, and we stalled a little bit. It wasn't all on Joe. Bringing in Nick Evers, who is, he was an Elite 11 guy. He was a top 10 Elite 11 guy, which is, the number 1 quarterback competition in the country for high schoolers. Went to Oklahoma, then Wisconsin. He's one of those guys that was, the victim of coaching changes and not having an opportunity. But he's a very talented young man. Hasn't played in games a lot. I think he's only had a few snaps when Oklahoma played Texas in the, whatever they call it down there. Yeah, I don't know. This is Red River Showdown or something like that. And then, Tucker McDonald, who was with us last year as a freshman, a redshirted, was having a really good camp, hurt his knee and his hamstring and his shoulder all at once, basically. And, that's kind of held him back, but he's picking it up. And then we've got a young man named Cole Welliver, who was a pretty highly recruited kid. Texas A&M came in on him late, and he decided to stick with his commitment to us. And he's a big 6'7" guy who's got a rifle arm. But they all have the qualities that they're all very smart. They're all team guys. They all got really good arm talent, and they all can run. Even Cole, you'd say, God, he's 6'7". Can he run? He can run enough. He's not Mike Vick out there, but he can run enough. So I feel like the quarterback room in its entirety is the best that it's been since I've been here, for sure. Now we've got to on right, and if we're running the ball and playing good defense, that any of them could go in and we'd have a chance to win the game.
Yeah, let's talk about it. 2 years ago, you ran the ball really well. Top, I think, 33rd in the country, something like that. That was a real good reason why you went 6-6 and got the team to a bowl game, and you got Victor Rosa coming back, and you got Cam Edwards, who was a surprise running back because of out of necessity with all your injuries. Those 2 guys are really experienced running backs. So, you got a good start in the running back room.